Hey, thanks for watching the second progress video of my Ultimate Iron Man, which is a level 3 skiller. And if you're watching the second video after watching the first video, because I'm just now making it into an actual series after finally determining that I am going to make progress videos on this particular account, you'll realize that this is very different than the last video. And the last video, as well as the last videos I've made in several accounts over the last 5 years across 2 YouTube accounts, has been very different than this. I typically take forever, record a ton of different levels and clips and XP, whatever it is, different clips, and then I put that together to some super egotistical hype music or something, and then I release that once a year or very rarely. And the problem with that is it's just limiting myself in terms of content and actually getting a deeper look into the progress. So for example, the first video you just watched, the amount of effort that went in to setting up an Ultimate Iron Man level 3 and doing all of the combat, quests, diaries, basically everything to set yourself up to be able to just focus on skilling and not worry about ruining your account build later. I could have at least expanded that into 10 to 15 videos, to be honest. And it would have been more fun to go back and watch that progress and see really how much goes into that build. So this account wasn't really meant to be a progress video account. Like, I wasn't going to make progress videos at all when I first made it. I initially made it for a site that I just deployed, UMI level3.netlify.com. Eventually I'll have a regular domain on there, but that's what it is for now. It's unfinished. So I'm working on the skill guides right now, the individual skill guides. So check that out. I will put, like, just for the time being I'm working on it, I'm just going to have all the methods in there, and then I'll add the assets and more stuff there. There is an efficient starting guide. So if you're interested in maybe just an alternative, effective, efficient starting guide, that's my 100 steps to getting going on an Ultimate Level 3 build. And I think it's the most efficient way to go about it because you'll avoid a lot of combat mistakes or issues later. That honestly, we've seen it before with several different skillers that have had 99s, even 200 mils, that have ended up getting combat levels because they didn't really focus on what I would say is the most important part of making sure your account is cleared to actually invest hours into any skill on. And that's what I did with this account, was make it for that site. And then I did everything in that last video. I just compiled it all together, or most of it together. Not even really all the recording, just different clips and stuff. So that's not going to be how videos are in the future. Now I'm going to do more of a commentary based thing because I've decided that this is my main. It's the only account that I'm really focused on. I've got about 300 days membership. It is my second Ultimate Iron Man level 3 skiller that I've made a series with. The first one bag, I got pretty far, I think 1350 total, about 100 mil total XP. So I definitely, in pretty much almost 90 base, I had plenty of 90s and a couple of 99s. And I think I had 30 mil thieving plus or something. So I had definitely invested quite a bit of time into that. And to start over, like, it's pretty ridiculous. So, but I have determined that this is absolutely the best build. And I'm actually happy that I started over because I hadn't done a lot of the revealed methods from Keyboard and others on that prior account of bag. Also, the name bag is banned because it was sniped in the process of trying to move it back onto my account when it was hijacked. And really what I was doing was just paying somebody to put it back on my account. It still got sniped. And so the individual was helpful enough to help me get it banned, which I wouldn't have wanted the name bag banned. But the goal was basically, if I can't be bag, nobody else should be able to. So that's how I look at it. That's why I don't have the name bag anymore as well, for those that are wondering why I don't have it on this second account. And I honestly don't really care too much about names. My current name is my initials, and that's not really good looking, but it's a short name, which I like short names. It's all characters, no numbers, and it is my initials. So I'm cool with that. And I honestly haven't really been into super rare names as of late because of the inflation of prices. And honestly, I just haven't seen any that really fit my account build that would make me really, really want to have it within a realistic price range. So not really into that cosmetic as much anymore. And I'm more focused on what I'm actually obtaining on the account and my progression. That being said, these videos will be as consistent as possible. As a forewarning right now, this may feel more like a ramble video because it kind of is, at least for this progress video. The next one will be commentary, but just a heads up, I'm approaching my late 20s. I'm actually coming up on my 9-year wedding anniversary. I've got a actually just turned 7-year-old daughter. So crazy how time's flying. Just happened here. And then also a 4-month-old son. I work pretty much full time. I also do overtime. I also teach part time as a second job, software engineering, and I'm one of the top boot camp instructors for actually about to be one of the top boot camps in the US. So for technology, like full stack development with JavaScript. So yeah, so I'm pretty busy. If I'm not doing that, I'm at the gym or I'm hanging out with my friends, but I spend a lot of time with family, and the friends that I do hang out with, usually it's also involving our daughters and going on fishing trips, or doing archery or even hunting. And so, yeah, that's kind of the stuff that I've been into, as well as, I wouldn't call it CrossFit, but kind of a combo between cardio and weight training. And so I really don't have a whole lot of EHP per week that I get. I'm not doing 100-hour weeks, so the progress that you're going to see is going to be a little slower. And that's why I think the commentary build and showing levels when I get them and what I get is a better build for me in terms of video production for progress videos. It may not be flashy. I may not get any subs. I may not get any likes. That's okay. I just want to have everything recorded, at least in a way that I can look back and think, man, I did make some progress, and that can motivate me in the future. And honestly, with those other videos, it definitely did that for me. And that's why I ended up continuing to do that and why I've done progress making videos ever since. It's not really for any glorification or for somebody to go, oh, that player is great. Or even sometimes for other people's enjoyment, as much as I hope that it will provide that or at least motivate other individuals on their individual goals. Nobody really cares about my goals. I actually love to see other people hit their goals, and I tend to care more about other people's goals being hit than my own. But nobody really cares. If I get rank 51 agility, great. Nobody really cares. Again, so it's all about enjoyment and getting in what you want and achieving what you want and having fun while you do it. And maybe there'll be some sweaty, difficult times in that, or being consistent is going to be difficult, or sticking to one skill and not dropping it and continually doing it till the goal is achieved when you don't feel like doing it. Some would call that burnout. I would, risk for burnout. I would call that just getting the goal done and achieve the hard work of it. But that is still going to be fun ultimately when you get the achievement. So that being said, a lot to say there just as an introduction to really the future of this series, and kind of the point of this video is not to make it like is how it's going to be, but catch you guys up. So I'll almost call this progress video 1.5, and that's what I'm probably going to release it as. So in terms of skills, you can see we've only got really 2 main achievements that weren't shown in the last video. And I don't really think that many skills were shown in the last video. So that's why I'm doing this, is to kind of catch you guys up so that I'm not, showing you later content or content that I completed a while ago and acting as if it was current progress, because that would be a little bit deceitful. I mean, it would help if I was uploading regularly, I guess, but I kind of don't like doing that. So you can see here, the main 2 achievements are 99 Thieving, which was my first 99, and then my second 99, which is 99 Farming. You'll also see that I'm past 1,000 total, and I'm getting close to 50 mil total XP. So bag being around 100 mil total XP and 1350 total, I definitely have a ways to go to catch up to that account in terms of stats. But what I'll show you that I have completed, bag did not have completed, and I'm more excited about this account than I was with that account because of it. And so we've obtained, what we need to do certain things. We're currently working on 99 Firemaking. When I hit 99 Firemaking, I will technically have more 99s than I did on bag, which is actually kind of funny because on bag I had 99 Thieving and Firemaking 30 mil Thieving, and I think I had 96 rune crafting. So I would have had 3 cooler 99s than I think on here, but I will have 3 99s nonetheless, which will bypass the 99 count on the high scores. So that being said, the skills are pretty ugly, which is very different than bag. Bag I always was focused on, I guess you could say, like the cleanliness and the OCD of the account, making it look pristine, making it look nicer than it really was, so that I felt good on the account. I've kind of abandoned that a little bit and gone for more of an efficient route. So the reason why I did Thieving is because Master Farmer post 99 is for double seeds with rogues is essential to farming. Having the farming cape is great for the instant farming guild access, right? And so I can just teleport there constantly, and I do, as well as really, I guess in the future, those are going to be what I'm going to need primarily for that 99 Herblore, which is probably the hardest skill to level, especially if you're not rushing Herblore and you're doing other things. That's going to be basically probably one of the last 99s, if not the last 99 I would ever obtain on the account. So doing it a little bit efficiently, has changed because of the player own house update. Nowadays, I can get agility. Now, here's the reason why agility 99 wasn't efficient before on an ultimate versus a regular or hardcore iron level 3. It wasn't efficient if you were a completionist like myself. I want to use all of my marks of grace for items that I can store in my POH. And before, when you didn't have 99 construction, that wasn't really plausible. They updated the POH, which I'll show you when I show my stuff in there in terms of storage shortly right after this. But basically, you can store a lot more sets now, and I basically can get 99 agility now. So that's definitely opened up to me as I've gotten 80 recently, and I'm looking at that since I've got combined across all of my accounts that I've ever built, about 40 mil agility XP. So I definitely love agility, and I definitely love getting to Artie. So I'm definitely not too opposed to doing that as a 99 sooner than later. It's a question of, do I want to do more post firemaking and really just keep doing firemaking for the remainder of 2021, which my goal would be to hopefully hit 99 firemaking by January 1st, 2021. And maybe it'll just be the year of firemaking videos. I'm not really sure, but that would be a little bit more boring in terms of content, but I could definitely record clips of post XP and different levels, since I would be getting wood cutting, fletching, and construction levels, along with, I guess, post XP goals. And, you know, if I did get the pet or I did get the DX, that would be a perk for the future. If I did get both of those and I had a pretty high con level, like maybe 90 plus, then maybe I would take a break and go for, you know, wood cutting from 90 to 99, just redwoods, or, you know, do construction the old fashioned way with 32k XP per hour, doing the old fashioned method of using the balloon transportation to the sawmill, etc. in Taverley. So yeah, that's something that I could do. I'm not really sure yet, but this is my current progress skills. I have, I'll show you what I have in terms of storage from sets and all of that in a moment. The biggest thing here you'll see is that I definitely do have XP. So I was not perfect on the 0 combat XP method. Now I'll tell you why that doesn't really matter. Because as long as you get everything completed and you've got plenty of XP, then you really shouldn't be in a seriously nervous state. And doing it perfectly isn't going to be always as possible. Or you're going to end up having like this phobia of, if you mess up, you have to start over. I don't really have all that time. I just wanted to do 0 combat XP methods. And some of the stuff that I did do is unavoidable combat XP, at least in terms of both a combat stat and HP. In terms of range, I also have still quite a bit of XP left for even all of these, but I definitely still have some XP there. In terms of what has been done on the account, even though the quest point count isn't high, I have done a couple of quest points that are now impossible to do on an ultimate iron or regular or hardcore iron level 3 because of a nerf recently to recoils, the method to obtain them. And so that's cool. It means that I won't ever actually hit the 111 amount because I don't have Contact Quest or Tale of Two Cats or some of the other combat stuff that I probably could have done. But it just means that some of the quest points that I do have in this 48, though this is low, would put me higher than the possible amount of quest points that you could get on an ultimate level 3 now. So that's pretty exciting. So eventually I'll do some more quests, but the quests that I do have completed are all intentional. You can see Bone Voyage. By the way, this is not going to be edited. Bone Voyage for Fossil Island, which is super useful for volcanic ash, for ultra compost yields, along with my farming cape for the extra bonus in yields. And then also I do giant seaweed. I do collect that because that is a good chance at the pet, as well as it does go into post or, you know, passive storage of crafting XP. And then I also get herbivore, which is basically the main reason Fossil Island's super efficient or helpful for an ultimate. I also have Elemental Workshop 1 done and the feud done. Now, the reason why the feud is going to be great is because that will give me 200 GP per blood rune. So I can sell all my runes for, I think, about 96 million when I get 99 if I do bloods all the way. I don't really need that much GP to max. Definitely the amount of GP that I would sink it into would be something like smithing. And then maybe if I didn't want to do 200 mil firemaking because of how, I guess, casual I am, that's something that I could also use as the money from rune crafting to fund, the old-fashioned con method without worrying about the funds. So that's a really helpful two quests right there that I have completed that you can no longer complete. The other quests that I'd say are pretty helpful is Shiloh Village, so I can do the crafting method. Now again, I am storing noted giant seaweed, and I'll show you my looting bag here in a moment, and that's really going to be helpful because when I do mining, I'm going to get buckets of sand noted, and I'll have the GP to pay for that. And so eventually I'll have a stack of giant seaweed and a stack of buckets of sand. And now I don't know how the giant seaweed will fare. If I perfectly got everything that I was supposed to get from each giant seaweed, then it would only take me about 21,000 noted giant seaweed from the level I'd get after 99 rune crafting for 99 crafting. And that's pretty cool to think about, that I could, through just passively over time and through mining, that I could actually passively collect what I need to do 99 crafting. Now, I don't think it'll be perfect, and I will eventually probably have to do regular Shiloh Village glass at charter ships. And when I do, that quest is going to come into play, and it's going to help a lot for completing 99 crafting and getting the best hourly XP I can. As at that point, it may not be a good record, but I am going to try to go pretty hard on crafting. At least for me, with my schedule, I may be able to do and shoot for 6-hour records. So that's what I was thinking I might be able to do with crafting because of that. The other one that's helpful is Tithe One-Eye Trio, mainly for the KP Spear, because there is a quest that I need to do in which I have to kill a monster left. That's the only thing I have left to do on this account to unlock Nightshade, which will be helpful when I have Construction Cape for doing herb lore, because I am passively storing coconuts. And so if I can use that method that the original first Iron level 3 to ever get 99 herb lore, which was an ultimate named Leveler Thrust, did, that method may seem inefficient, but with the current changes to hopping worlds and the spawn rate, I think it could actually be the fastest herb lore XP for an ultimate to gain. So if I can passively store a lot of levels doing that, that would be a fantastic way to obtain the ultimate Iron Man herb lore XP hour, at least for level 3. Obviously, regulars can use Cerebrus, and because of other methods, they can get higher XP rates for herbs stored in their looting bag. So that's pretty much the main reason for those. Tourist Trap for steel dart tips. I will do steel dart tips probably until I can do mithril plate bodies, and then from there it'll be mithril plate bodies at blast furnace to 99, because I don't want to do steel dart tips all the way. I won't need the fletching level. I'll probably have it pretty high at that point, maybe even 99 if I was doing smithing at that point. And yeah, it doesn't really matter that much. So that's the quest, and there's a lot of combat that goes into that, in terms of doing observatory quests and the RNG there, doing the Merlin's Crystal and avoiding the combat XP there, doing the biohazard fight with a level 13. Like, there is quite a few quests here that there is combat involved in, especially the elemental and the feud being the two probably hardest ones that I've had to do on an ultimate. I would say on an ultimate, the feud is one of the most difficult things because of the Guthix rest you have to make, and you have to have all the ingredients ready for it. And if you fail, then you have to like reset and do it all over again and create the Guthix rest again, which was a whole lot of fun to do. But the biggest achievement that I'm feeling on this account that I didn't have on bag is the achievement diaries. I have all of the easy diaries that can be completed, except for Mauritania. If you were to glitch, I think you can get in there and do the easy, but I didn't want to glitch. And then also, and I don't think I actually could learn how to glitch, but I have seen recently somebody glitch and get into Mauritania as a level 3. I don't know if that got patched, but that. And then also, if I did want to, which I don't know why I didn't, I could have possibly used a couple recoils to kill the bird in the desert. So it's possible that basically I could have 2 more easy diaries. But in reality, this is all the easy diaries you can get as a level 3 ultimate currently. So I feel pretty good about that. The hardest one would be Kandarin, because you have to kill 4 elementals. You can 0 combat XP them, which takes a long time. With Falador, you have to kill the duck. With the Falador duck, which is range XP, I just straight up ranged it. I didn't really care too much about the XP, actually. With Corendon Kebos, you have to kill a sand crab, and that is a 4 XP and HP XP gain no matter what you want to do. That's how you have to get it done. Lumbridge and Draenor, you have to kill the cave bug, which you can 0 combat XP. I had a hard time with that, and so I just ended up, I ended up getting some range XP, but yeah, I was trying to 0 combat XP it, and the cannon ended up hitting it. And yeah, it didn't quite work the way I wanted with the stall. But that's okay. Got that one done, as well as the Draenor zombie. And then Varrock, there isn't any combat, but all of those are completed. And that feels really good. The most beneficial piece that comes from that is the Explorer's Ring. It's essentially a trimmed or untrimmed agility cape in its perk. You get 250% energy boost per day. And so that equates to 1 agility cape. Eventually, with an agility cape, that would be a double stack, and that would be like the best in slot for energy boost per day, if that makes sense, which wouldn't be that great. I mean, it's not a stamina or anything like that, but yeah, that could be good for farm runs when I do at least at bare minimum my full cocoa runs, etc. So that's pretty much it there. I also have the favor, so I have all the favors complete. The most difficult one being Lovakenge, but once you hit a certain percentage, you're able to just unlock the whole minecart and finish up everything. And yeah, that was actually a lot of fun. I really enjoyed doing the Karen favor, even Lovakenge, when I figured out how to do it. And basically, I think I did accidentally hit it once and got some XP, but I did find the safe spot. So I was able to sit and be attacked the whole time and just mine sulfur till it was done. So I didn't have to worry about constant death from the, I forget what they are, like toxic clouds or whatever. In terms of my stack, you can see I've got about 9.2 mil. Most of that came from blackjacking, 45 to 99. I did blackjacking all the way with wines. And I started off with the bandits that were low level. And then I got to 65. And then I did Menophyte thugs all the way and would hop worlds and get wines. It was pretty fun. The GP is a little bit used because I did get the pet at, I think it was like 13 point something. There's a picture on my Twitter if you want to see when I got the Rocky pet. I got it at Master Farmer in the Farming Guild post 99. And I've got about 1.2 mil XP, I guess, post XP in Master Farmer so far. And so that gave me all the GP that I have, which is a really good start, right? Thieving is, I think, one of the best starts because agility doesn't really give you money. It's good to get 60 or 70 so you get full graceful, and then you can do the agility pyramid for quick cash if you need it. But when it comes to a skill that gives good money in the beginning, thieving's the easiest. You don't need agility to do it. You can buy the food from the money you get for cheap wines, and you just basically just sit there and do it over and over. So it's a very repetitive way to just get a quick 10 mil, which I had hit 10 mil. And then I used it to ensure the pet, as well as I think it died once. I died with it once, and so I had to restore it. And you'll see that my pet is somewhere over here. If not, you'll see that I have it dyed as red there, but that is the Rocky pet. In terms of other perks, I do have the Xerix Talisman, but there's really no need for it very often, which is why I like it. I like having the combination because with Farming Guild, I can never waste my Xerix Talisman on stuff that I need to use my farming cape for. I can just get straight to the guild. But when it comes to, other places that I might want to quickly teleport, that is a next slot that I can keep there forever and easily charge if I needed to. I don't need, a ton of charges or to mount it on in my POH. It just wouldn't be purposeful. I keep some noted maple logs on me right now for birdhouse runs. I did get from, I think, like 14 or 15, whatever the first way to make literally I think it was like level 14. I did oak birdhouses and then willow birdhouses and then eventually just started maple all the way to 63 passively. So I unlocked red chins by not even really training hunter, which is kind of crazy to think about. And I continue to do them because I need one more palm seed left. The reason why I need palm tree seeds is to collect cocos, which I'll show you in a moment in my looting bag and explain why. I also have my noted looting bags, did LMS to obtain quite a few. Then the reason this is nice is because with the regular looting bag, if you die and lose it, it disappears, right? And on any death, but the noted looting bag notes do not. So basically I can accidentally die or intentionally die, and then I can just plug up my inventory and unnote one, and then I can go in the wilderness and put everything back in there. So it's really helpful to have a couple of backups. I probably should just keep those points in LMS, but knowing Jagex and how much I've been jerked around with the looting bag, which is why I don't actually have flippers or the Mogre hat, thanks to the constant changes in looting bag and the nerf happening before they added looting bag to the LMS store or this particular noted benefit. That's kind of why I keep these in here, is because I just don't trust Jagex. They might just yoink it out of the LMS store, and then I'd be set in a situation where I could have had backup looting bags for post firemaking on accidental deaths, lags, or whatever. So I've got that just in case I lag. That gives me some grace for an hour, and I don't have to worry about going to LMS and gaining a point just to get one, or going there and then finding out that they no longer exist there, and doesn't matter if I have points there backed up. So that's kind of just my paranoia that I am there. I use lobs. I don't use swordfish for Winter Taught because I'm only 53 cooking right now, and there's really no purpose. Honestly, there's no reason I should use anything that's above 10 HP will work with when it comes to healing for Winter Taught. So I just use lobs, and then you'll see my looting bag after I show you my seed box. So my seed box, I actually keep one unnecessary seed in here, which is the irits. I definitely don't need those in there right now. I'm not doing herb runs, but I keep all of my barley seeds for birdhouse runs. I keep my giant seaweed spore pretty stacked, at least usually 100 at minimum. The lowest I'll get down to is about 60. Sometimes if I'm just kind of doing something, I'll do my giant seaweed and then sit around and wait for a couple or 3 to spawn. So I'm always getting more than I'm spending. Then if I know I'm going to log out, I'll just log out and stay right there. And then when I come back in, I'll just harvest and replant real quickly. I've got my snape grass here, which I should eventually start collecting more snape grass and do that as a part of my run. Some limps, and then these are used seeds. I've been going through these and starting to actually plant these twice a day. That way I'm actually getting some of the usage of my new trees. Initially, I wanted to keep the stack of used seeds until after however much farming XP or firemaking XP I got, but I recognized that is just not worthwhile because I'd rather just get all those trees done and get the farming XP while I can. Plus, it's a chance at the pet, so why would I not use a good chance at the pet while I have it, just because I want to show a picture that shows how many seeds I got. I'm not that into tracking that granular level of my progress of what a skill gives me. So that's pretty much the main stuff there in terms of the seed box of why I have those seeds in there. That will change as I do more Master Farmer XP for seeds that actually matter for herb lore. But I haven't done that 30 mil post Master Farmer Thieving XP yet. So my looting bag, you can actually see, is very organized. So what I have is every single seed and associated grimy herb that is useful for a potion that would be equipable for easy to train with the equipped construction cape or the teleport from the construction cape for actually doing farm runs even faster later on. And then what's nice about this is I can at any point do herbivore, and I have backup points from 99 farming from Tithe to get the seed box, so I can easily have seed bag or herb bag, so I can do herbivore at 80 without having to worry about having nowhere to put my herbs or having to die, because these are the only herbs that I would keep anyways, besides the additional ones of torstals. So that's pretty much the only thing that I would keep, and I would just basically rarely get that, I think, at herbivore. And if I did, that would only be one slot. I also have my spines and my coconuts. I did die and actually lost a stack that I had, so it's uneven and there's not many of them. But the reason that you would keep these is for super restore potions, which are actually pretty nice if you have the con cape and the mounted glory later on, as well as when you get a higher level of herb lore using the cocos with nightshade and construction cape method for doing the 82 potion weapon plus, I think, as really good XP. So it's basically part of my passive runs. That's why I've been doing birdhouse runs this entire time, is to get palm seeds, since you can't get palm seeds from anything other than, I think for me at least, any way other than through a bird nest. So I get those bird nests since I'm not wood cutting, passively doing that. And eventually sometimes I get lucky and I've planted all my palm trees except for one patch left. So I'm super close. Got a couple of the secondaries here that would also be useful for that. And then I've got 7.8k basically giant seaweed. Now the giant seaweed, again, based on getting my calculations, if I did 99 rune crafting, my crafting level would be a certain level. It would only take 5k successful giant seaweed on burnings to get everything I need to hit 85 crafting. So I can definitely get a good amount and chunk off of these giant seaweed if I have the buckets of sand in Edgeville with everything else cleared out in my inventory and just basically doing crafting. So I think it's worthwhile to do that since the giant seaweed spores are near the birdhouse runs, which I'm still trying to get that palm, and because it's so fast to do with Chronicle and get over there. Plus, it's like one of the good pet chances, I think, for the Tangle Root, which is a pet I do want. So I don't see why not to do it on an ultimate. It's not necessarily the most efficient way to crafting XP, but I'm over there anyways. I might as well be doing it. To me, it is actually a little bit efficient right now, and maybe an efficient chance at the pet. I also have some ore. It hasn't really stacked much up from in terms of rewards from crates from Wintertide thus far. But yeah, that, and then I've got the raw sharks for maybe eventually someday, you know, when I'm 65, I'll do mess hall at cooking, and then I'll be a high enough level and I'll just whip out the unnoted sharks and just start burning them, you know. So I'll just start cooking them, maybe for some passive slow XP when I'm bored and just want to AFK and not do mess hall. But realistically, sharks and on an ultimate aren't worth it. Mess hall is just the best XP, even though it got nerfed after Navis's 200 mil usage of it by like a factor of, I think it's like 1/3 the XP rate it used to be. But yeah, that's why I keep those in there. And I probably will remove the sharks out of there and replace it with the Torstal herbs at some point. So that's pretty much mainly everything that I have here. You can see I actually have the Pyromancer outfit. Let's take a look at my POH. I have pretty much everything I need to boost for the stamina pool. I can make the regular ornate pool and boost to make the stamina pool. So at some point I am going to need to do some more post Master Farmer and get that Torstal seed, or a couple of them, hopefully with the double pickpocket, and successfully make sure that they're planted in a place where they won't die, which would be Tithe, near Tithe minigame, and then have the Torstals so I can make the stamina pool, because it will be ready and I'll have it right there. In terms of box storage, I definitely can upgrade these. Again, this is kind of what's made Ultimate a little bit easier, is we really essentially, with these tiers, deposit modes, searches, and deposit inventory, it's like a very minimalistic, intentional bank. And I actually really like that. I don't think that it's, you know, helped Ultimate in the sense that and making it like a little bit easier. I think it makes it easier for people to get into it. And, you know, if they get an item, they can just deposit it, even if they don't have the full set. I think that's definitely an overpowered like update for the mode, but for the most part, that's pretty much just the aids of Ultimate. And the real struggle with Ultimate has nothing to do necessarily with that as much as it has to do with all of the juggling of your inventory and items and quests and all of that. Actually, let me go to all these first. So the fancy dress box, I'll update that. With treasure chest, I have nothing in there. Eventually, I would do that, but that would be post. I'm working on the beekeeper outfit, and I ignored all of these ones because I had to have this set in the past, but I have never ignored the stale baguette, and I'm constantly working on those now. So hopefully eventually I'll have that completed. And then in terms of the toy box, I've got basically all of the stuff from every single event except for the spookier costume. I just have the spooky one, so I don't know how to get the colored version in hindsight, but yeah. And then I have a couple items I'm wearing that I'll put back in here. So that's pretty much those. The cape, unfortunately, I think I need to boost it one more before I can actually store 2 skill capes. And when that happens, what I will store, I'm thinking, is probably just the thieving cape, so that whenever I feel like doing Postmaster Farmer, I can. Or whenever I feel like I need to get some GP, I'll just pop it in there and grab it. But eventually I'll have all my skill capes here, which would be useful if I was trying to do something and I didn't want to have to waste 100k. But it's not really that beneficial, but it's pretty good. So with an ultimate, you have 2 types of cases. You have the magic wardrobe and you have the armor case. These are 2 different cases. They require different levels for storage each, but they used to be really limited. For example, you'd have to have 64, or sorry, I think it was either 62 or 64 construction, probably 64, in order to store like only 5 sets. And now with like 64, I'm pretty sure I can store like 40 sets. So you can imagine the kind of like a patch or update or buff that is to Ultimate Mode POHs. It's like, hey, now I can store the whole rogue set and 39 other sets, and I can store all of those items without even having to have the whole set. So that's kind of what's overpowered Ultimate at this point. But these are the 2 different types. So I eventually will probably go for like Amy Saw and the Carpenter's outfit. That will be a little bit more difficult, needing to get the steel bars and all that. But I could definitely get the fish sack and then other items like the golden tench can be put in here. Eventually, I will have all the graceful outfits except for hallowed. The reason why I have one additional graceful outfit right now is that is actually waiting for the trailblazer to finish so I can get the brown graceful. So I have the points for both the tier 1 set and the brown graceful. So I will use that set for that. Then when I go for 99, I can basically just dye each set as I go, and I'll have every single colored graceful set in my POH, which is pretty nice to have upon 99 agility without even having to do post. The only other items in here that I could have had but are now impossible is the mud skipper, flippers, and hats, which required recoils and the looting bag method to be obtainable at the same time. I can also get different fly fishing rods. I don't think the barbarian rod, but the other ones. And then this is where I store my pyromancer outfit as well as my warm gloves. And believe it or not, I am going to get that tribal outfit in brown, pink, and yellow, and blue, and store it all in there. So basically anything that I can get into and wear, eventually I will want to actually include in this and add into it. I'm not sure about the bounty hunter hats, so that might be a little bit sketchy in terms of combat. Might not be worth the risk, but we'll see. And in terms of the armor case, this is really where all your skilling outfits will reside. So I've got the angler set in here. I will do the quest eventually for bomber jacket. I should do it. I just don't want to risk. I don't want not risk, but I don't want to go through the whole process of dying right now and suiciding in order to get those 2 items in the quest done, because I'm not really using it too much at the moment. But the builder's costume and some of these sets I can absolutely put in here. I do have none. I have no need for the clue hunter outfit anymore, so I took that out, but that was before the buff, so I probably could have it in there. But I took it out because I'm using pyromancer and I was using Santa outfit set, since that's the easiest reobtainable and destructible item for warm clothes. I've got the farmer's outfit here. And, there's definitely some items I can put in here. Eventually, like completionist, if I was ever maxed, this is basically what I'd be going for. It's like all 8 halos. I was thinking of doing like once in a while, just, teleporting to LMS and just slowly working at least on the Saren and Bandos and Ancient and Armado ones, or Bressica, whatever is from LMS and points, and just slowly collecting those. And then maybe at some point I will do some Castle Wars and try to obtain at least one of the regular 3 so I can swap it out whenever I want. But it would be super nice now that I can have so many sets stored in the armor case at this level if I had just every single halo. But that's kind of like the giant spade with the clue hunter or any of the clue rewards. It's not really a meaningful thing to do. It's fun, but yeah, if there's anything I wish I could store in here, that would be that. It would be something like I don't know, gnome goggles and scarf, but that would be fun to get, but it can't be stored. So, and then eventually I'll probably put like the hunter and helm of Railwald in here. I don't have the Prospector kit. That is the only real true skilling outfit that I would consider a skilling outfit that I don't have left. But I've got my rogue armor set in here. And then I've got the tier 1 Twisted Relic Hunter. I really didn't like the tier 2 or tier 3, so I didn't think it was worth going the points because I wasn't really enjoying League and I waited till the last minute on season 1. And now that you're able to buy past items, it's kind of silly to me because the only reason I did it was I thought, this might be a deprecated item. But since they made it where you can basically do this currently, you can get everything from the last league, it kind of defeats the purpose of like getting that tier 1 set just to say I was around when that happened and I did it on this account to have something completionist to show for it. But yeah, I basically also will have the tier 1 set for the Trailblazer League. So I'm basically only collecting tier 1 sets. The tier 2 and tier 3, they might look a little cooler sometimes. In this case, I don't think they do, but in the other set coming up, I think the tier 2 and tier 3 look better than the tier 1. But yeah, I'll have at least tier 1 set always of the league. And so that's pretty much everything there in my POH. Hopefully you've been able to get a little bit of an insight on the account and where I'm at. A lot of information. Sorry it took so much time to go through it in Ramble. And I hope you enjoyed this Ramble video progress catch up. And in the next ones, they'll be hopefully a lot shorter, a lot more of just me hitting levels. And we'll see what I have for the future. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one. So get out of here.